Yeah, hello, good day everyone. It's good to have you guys back here. Welcome back to my channel. Yeah, I'm very sure you guys have been following up on my previous videos. If you have not, kindly check back and make sure you're following from the beginning. Thank you very much. It's good to have you guys back here. I remain my humble self, Adekite, and I'm very happy I'm doing this with you guys. So I'm very sure you guys are happy too. So there's no problem. Thank you very much for joining me on this journey. So quickly, we do that. We started our journey into this software development, and basically the first part we're looking at is just the web development part. So which consists of the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So I've started the HTML and we've looked at so many things like the heading. We've talked about the market tag. We've talked about the link. We've talked about the list, that is HTML list, and I've also tried to explain some of the things that you guys need to understand regarding the HTML tags. You guys, so you guys should do well to check my previous videos and make sure you update yourself. So today, without wasting much time, we'll be looking at HTML image. Yeah, how do we add image to our web page? You get, so let's assume you have an image you want to display maybe on your portfolio site or maybe for your client. How do we add that using HTML? So we have HTML tag that we can use to do that, and I'll be looking at that with you guys now without wasting much time. So if you look at now, you can see my screen, and the tag we can use to add image or to display or to render an image on our web page is the img tag. So you can see it here. This is it under the comment HTML image. So we'll be using this tag now to add image to our web page. So how do we use this? And in fact, this will bring us to discussing so many things. You get, so but the first thing we like to look at is how do we add this image. So we start by adding your image tag, which is the img tag. Then yeah, as you can see, this image tag does not have a closing tag. Yeah, so which will now bring us to the first thing I would like to discuss, which is the container tag and non-container tag. I won't waste time here. I'll be creating another video specifically for the extensions of this particular topic. You get, so there are still some other things that this thing will bring us to. So I'll discuss everything inside another video so that this video won't be too long, so that we can focus on what we want to do and, you know, make sure that the video is not too long. Yeah, so inside it, okay, now we have two types of tags. So we have the container tag and we have the non-container tags. So the container tags are the ones that have the opening and closing tags, just like the ones that we've been using before, like this DT. So you can see the DT has opening, which ends here, while this has what, closing tag. So, and if you remember when I did the introduction, I also talked about this opening tag and this closing tag, and I didn't mention if it's if we have container tags or not. So this is a great time to mention, or this is a great time to talk about that. You get, so it is better we see it and we discuss about it rather than discussing theory and other, which is something I've been trying to avoid in these lessons. You get, so this tag you are seeing here, the image tag, is a non-container tag. Why? Because it does not have what, closing tag. So it only has what, opening tag. So how do we use this to render image on our web page? So that will be the question on your mind now. So we are going to be doing this together. And okay, yeah, I've talked about attributes. So the attributes, we'll be using an attribute to display our image on our web page. So how do we do that? We'll be making use of the src attributes. So the src is the most important attribute that you need to add inside your image tag. So once you do this, and mind you, I got complaints from some guys that are watching this video, from some guys that have watched this video, that is my previous videos, that the screen is too small. They could hardly see the tags and the text on my code editor. So which is why I've decided to close the file explorer by clicking on this icon here and zooming out my screen so that we can all see this. All right, thank you. So that's it. Now how do we add our image here? So that will now take us to another thing quickly. Before you can add an image, you need to get the image that you want to add on your web page. You need to put it inside your project folder. Yeah, I've already talked about project folder. If you didn't get that, please kindly check my previous video so that you understand what the project folder is. But we can also look at that together now quickly. So before we do that, before we can add our image to our web page, we need to at least add our image inside the project folder. That is one way of adding image to our web page. So we'll be looking at the other type, or the other way we can add image to our web page. So simply the two ways. The first one is self-hosted image. If you want to add a self-hosted image on your web page, if you want to add a self-hosted image on your web page, or you want to add an image that is online, so which is possible. So we'll be looking at the two methods, or the two ways we can add image to our web page. But the first one we'll be looking at is how to add a self-hosted image on our web page. So what do I mean by self-hosted? That means you have your image on your PC and you want to add it directly from your PC. You get, so we can, and one thing is we can't just add the image from anywhere on your PC. You need to go and look for the image, then you take it, you copy it and paste it inside your project folder. So let's do that quickly with an image here so that we can follow up on what to do. So let me just quickly, let me open, all right, let me open this folder and let's see if we can copy an image from there. Alright, so let's copy. Then we go back to our project folder. And mind you, if you guys can remember, our project folder is located in our desktop directory. So I think it's my HTML project, and let's see. Yeah, so I've copied it inside the folder. This is the image here, so DSC0407. Yeah, you guys can see that. So after copying your image, or after dropping it inside your project folder, now then you can just minimize it here, or you can close it that way. Then you open up your VS Code. So once you open your VS Code, then you should see the image. When you check your Explorer here, that is your file explorer, that is your VS Code file explorer, you get. So let me just check here. So you can see this is the image here. Once you add it to the project folder, then automatically it will appear on your VS Code. So this is the image here. Now we can now proceed to do what? To display this image on our web page. Yeah. So thank you very much. Now let me go back to my HTML file. Alright, so we can start. Now the thing is, we'll be looking at two things here too quickly. So I'll use that to discuss parts, you get. So quickly, without wasting much time, now that we have our image directly inside our project folder, so we can just start typing the name of the image here. Now you guys should notice something. The name starts from D, so DS. So you see that the name of the image pops up by itself, you get. So this is one thing I want you guys to take notes. If you are using a code editor like VS Code, which you are currently using, once you start typing the name of the image as the value of the source attributes, and this name does not pop up, that means something is wrong with what you are doing. So you need to check and make sure that you are doing the right thing, because once you start typing it, you should see the name of the image if what you are doing is right, you get. If the path to the image you are looking for is correct, then once you start typing the name of the image, it should appear. That is, the full name should appear as a suggestion so that you can click on it, just like you've seen. Like this, that is this part here. So I can just click on this to complete the name of the image for me. So this is very useful sometimes, because when you have an image with a long name, so typing the full name might be something that will take time. So once you just type the first two letters, then you should see the full name of the image, which is fine. So this is it, and let me save now, and let's open this up on our VS Code. Sorry, let's open this up on our browser and see what we have quickly. So let's wait for this to show up on my browser, and we can see if the image is now rendered on my web page or not. So let's see, the page is loading. Alright, so the image has been rendered on my web page. As you can see, the image is too large. So before we can see anything, we need to scroll down and scroll to the left. If you guys can observe, there is a scroll here. Yes, so that we can scroll to the left and right just to see the subject of the image. So as you can see, this is a part of me. I've added an image that contains myself, you get. So okay, the thing, as you can see now, we have a very large image. So how can we view this? Because we can't easily see the image like that, you get. We can't see everything at once, so we still need to be scrolling up and down. So that will now take us to looking at another attribute, which is called the width. So we can use the width to resize the width of the image, you get. So regardless of the size or regardless of the initial width of the image, you can always change it to something smaller or something bigger depending on what you want to achieve, you get. So here I'll just change this to 200 pixel, or let's say 200, you get. So that means we want to change the width to what? 200 pixel. Then let's see what we have now quickly. Page is loading. Alright, we should see that now. Okay. Alright, so can you guys see now? This is what we have when I change the width to 200. So you can manipulate the width of any image you add to your web page. Okay, so that's fine. Now that we've looked at the width, let's see what else can we look at again. So we can also look at the height. We can manipulate the height. But there's something I will say later on after using this height. So let's see. So let me set the height to 50 and let's see what we'll have. Yeah, 50. I think 50 is okay. So the page is loading. All right. Okay, so can you guys see what has happened here? If you guys can see this page clearly, you would observe that this image has been shrinked. Kind of, the image is no more. The image is not looking nice. The image is not looking normal again. So that is what will happen whenever you manipulate your width and height. You understand? So ordinarily, whenever you are working with images, most times it will be better you just manipulate the width. Once you manipulate the width, then it will resize itself using aspect ratio. There is something called aspect ratio you get in sizing of media files. So when you size only a property out of the width or height of a file, you get, it will resize the file, and in this case the image, it will add the aspect ratio, you get, such that the width, whatever value you are giving the width, it will give the corresponding value of the height, such that your image still remains the same, but it will now become smaller or bigger depending on what you want to do, you get, or depending on the value that you set for the width and the initial width of the image or whatever file that you are trying to manipulate. So in this case, I'm very sure that the initial width was very high, you get. So I now reduce it to what? To 200. So which has reduced my image and made it to be very small, you get. Now I added the height. So the height has kind of distorted the image. The height worked, but the image is not looking nice again. So if you look at the image here, you can hardly see what's there because the image has been shrinked, kind of. So what we will do, and my advice is just that whenever you are working with images or any media files, you get, so you can just work with the width only and forget about the height. So once you set the width, it will resize everything, taking into account the aspect ratio, you get, such that your image still remains nice, it looks nice, and it is still reduced at the same time. So let's see what we have now with this width of 200 without the height. So except in some cases where you might need to use the height as well, but most times if the height is not compulsory, just use the width and forget about every other and forget about the height. You get, just ignore the height and set the width, which is fine. So you can see this image. Even when looking at this, you can easily tell what's inside the image. You can see everything inside the image clearly, so which is fine. So that is just something you need to take note of whenever you want to manipulate the size of your image. Always use the width only, except in rare cases where you might need to use the height as well. You get. So thank you very much. So I need to mention something. So you can use 200 there or use 200 px. So px is a unit that we use most times, you get, in web development. So you guys will get used to this, but for now just know that we have a px, so which is a unit, you get, which is a unit that we use in web development, you get. So we are going to be using this most times and often, you get. So you guys should not be scared, just take note of it. I'll be explaining this deeply when we get to css. So for now, just take note that we have a unit called px, and for your width you can use the 200 only without px. You can also add your px, so both of them will do the same job, you get. Without the px, the system will automatically know that what you want to select is 200 px, so which is fine. So from here we can go from here and let's look at other attributes that we can have inside the image tag. So another attribute we like to look at quickly is the alt attribute. Yeah, you get that right. So the full meaning of alt is alternate, you get. Now what this simply do is that whenever your image is not being displayed on the web page, the alt value, whatever you set inside the alt, whenever you set as the value of the alt, will be what will be displayed on your web page. Now the idea of this thing is that if you set the alt, it should be able to tell the user of your web page, or it should be able to give an idea of the kind of image that your user are supposed to see on your. So it's supposed to give your users the idea of the kind of image that you have in that particular place. Now let's take for instance the image that we have here. So you can just look at your image and see, okay, what can I use to describe this image that is being displayed on this web page? So that should be what will be inside your alt, or that should be the value of your alt attributes. So yeah, I can easily say, let me just go back here. Let me go back here. So in the alt, I'll say Idris working on his laptop. Yeah, you can see, let's assume that the image is not showing and you see this text, then you are supposed to have an idea of what the image is supposed to be. You might not really have a clear picture, actually, you get, but you should have an idea of the kind of thing you are expected to see. And someone will now ask, what will happen to the image that will make the image not to show? So many things can happen to your image, you get. And the first thing is, the link to your image might not be correct. So if the link is not correct, then the image will not show, you get. And another thing is, if you migrate your site maybe from one place to another and you are trying to access that particular image in your file, it will not display anything, so showing that that image is missing inside your project folder, you get. So that is one thing you guys need to take notes. Those are the kind of scenario that can make your image not to appear on your web page. So when your image is not showing, your alt will show. When your image is showing, your alt will not be showing on your web page, it will be hidden. Please, I just want you guys to get that. When your image is showing, your alt will not be displayed. When your alt is showing, that means your image has a problem, you get. So let's see what we have here. So I've saved now, I've added my alt, so let's see. All right, so you guys can see we have my image here, and as you can see, nothing has changed. We can't really see any changes here. Why? Just because of what I just told you now, that when your image is showing, the alt value is hidden. When the alt value is showing, then that means your image is not showing. All right, thank you very much. So let's see, how can we make this show? If you remember what I just said, I said the things that can make your image not to show is if the link to your image is not correct. So if you want to try that, let's remove this 7 from the name of this image. So you can also do that to your image. Just remove a letter from the name of the image, you get, then you save it, and let's see what we have on our web page quickly. So the page is loading. All right, so let's scroll down to see. All right, so can you see the image is no more showing, but there is an icon here showing that, hey, hello Mr. A, there is an image here, but the image is not showing. But at the same time, it is equally showing the alt value, which is Idris working on his laptop. So you guys can see, because the image is not showing, now I can see the alt value, which is Idris working on his laptop. Now, if you are a user visiting my site, you get, definitely you should have an idea of who I am, or maybe I would have talked about myself before getting to this section. You get, so you should say, oh, Idris working on his laptop. You should just have an idea of what's happening in the image that is not showing. You get, so that is just how to use the alt. When the alt is showing, that means something is wrong with your image. When the image is showing, that means your alt will be what? Hidden. That's just what to know, or that is just what you need to hold here. You get, so we are done with alt. Then let's proceed. There are some other attributes we can use when it comes to image. So you can use the alt Z to wrap your text, so that we won't have to be scrolling into the other side of the screen to continue what we want to type. So we've looked at the alt. Now another thing we can quickly look at is what? Another thing we can quickly look at is the title. There is title attributes, and often you'll be seeing me using these title attributes in this image tag and some other tags again. So and I will tell you what this title works for now. Now, sometimes when you come to this image, let me make sure this image is showing now. So what the title does is whatever value you set to the title, yes, it will be displayed on the image whenever you hover on it. What do I mean by hover? That is what will come to your mind now. So hover is simply when you move your mouse on an image. So when you just move your mouse on the image, then that is what hover, without clicking. You just move your cursor on the image, just leave it there. You get, that is the meaning of hover. So as you can see now, I just hovered on this attribute, which is called width. You get, so which is why you are seeing this extra information on the top. This is exactly what we want to do. Okay, this is exactly what a title will do for you. Whenever you hover on something, then it displays a kind of text that has been like an informative text that has been set. You get, so this title is very, very useful. You get, sometimes it is very useful whenever you are building an application, and that application can be used by people with disability. You get, so because some softwares that are being used to develop or to build the devices that these people use, they track some of these attributes on the web page to tell them what they are seeing currently. You get, so you can use the title attributes, you get, to tell your user more about that image, you get, that you are rendering on your web page. So in this case, most times what I tell people is that try to use the same value that you have for your alt inside the title attribute, provided that you've added a correct and short descriptive text that can tell the users what you have, or that can give the user an idea of what you have on the image. You get, so here I can simply copy this. And I put it inside this place. Yeah, copy and paste is allowed in programming, because you'll be doing more of that. You get, so don't be surprised. You guys need to get used to that. But before you get used to that, make sure you get your hands dirty. You get, so thank you very much. So let's see the effect of what I just added. And Okay, let's wait for some time. Page is loading. All right, so now let's see. You know, I told you something. I said the title text can only show when you hover on the image or whatever element that you set it to. So let me just put my cursor now. This is my cursor here. Let me put it on the image so that we can see the text. All right, so if you guys can see that, I'm very sure you guys can see the text right below my cursor, which is saying Idris working on his laptop. So you can see we've used the title attributes to add or to show a descriptive text of what is happening directly inside that image. So even when someone is not seeing the image well or something has happened, they can easily get an idea of what is happening inside this image. Another example that I can quickly bring up is, let's assume you have a website now, you've added a picture of C. Ronaldo on that website. Definitely someone that sees C. Ronaldo putting on his jersey and maybe holding a football, we know that exactly this person is a player, but most people don't even know who C. Ronaldo is. So you can use the title attributes to do what? To write his name there, maybe C. Ronaldo holding a football. Such that when they hover on that image, then your users will be able to see, oh, C. Ronaldo holding a football. Now the thing is, for someone who does not know C. Ronaldo before, that information would give him an idea of who that particular person is, and who knows, the person might even have an idea of who the person is from that moment upward. So you can just do it to show more information about an image to the users, and it will only appear whenever you hover on the image or the elements that you've set it to, because it is not only image that you can set the title attributes for. All right, so that's fine. So we've looked at it width, we've looked at alt, we've looked at title. So another thing I would like us to look at quickly is let's talk about how to add image from an online source. So because most times you might want to add an image from a website or from a link or from any online source. So it might be from a website, it might be from an ebook that is online, or from anywhere, but the point there is the image is not on your folder, the image is not on your PC. You don't have direct access to the image, such that you cannot copy the image and put it inside your folder. So there are ways you can go online, to source for pictures and use them directly on your in your project. So let's see how we can do that quickly. All right, so I'll be visiting a site now. So I'll quickly talk about a site, or I'll be showing you guys just one site. There are 3 sites where you can have access to images online. So I'll talk about one here. So that is another aspect that I'll be discussing alongside parts. Image parts. So I'll be explaining them in details in my next video before the other lesson, so that you guys can have an idea. You can have a broad knowledge of some of the things that we'll be doing here. So the site I would like to show you guys quickly is pexels.com. So let's see. So this pexels.com, you can download royalty-free images here. You can download any image and use it anywhere. You can use it in your project and nobody will arrest you. So because most times if you visit sites like adobe.stock.com, or some other sites that offer premium images, or stock images that are not free, you need to have a license. So for you to have a license, you need to pay to use those images. If you don't have a license, you can't use those images, and this is a very serious issue. So you might not really have that issue here if you are staying in Nigeria and some other African countries, but in developed countries they take this thing very serious. You need to have a license before you can use some products online or for personal use. So now this is our site, or this is the Pexel site, and let's see. Yeah, I think we can go ahead now. So here you can get any type of image. When I say any, I mean any type of image you get. So just type the name or a kind of keyword that can describe the type of image that you want. Then it will bring up suggestions for you, so that you can pick from several options of images. All right, so let's see what technology will give us. We want to search for images using the technology keyword. All right, so we have our page now. So the page has been fully loaded, and so you can see these images here. All the images that you should see, here, they should be related to what? To technology. So this is AI. So this is a tech, a tech workstation. And everything, or all the images that you should see here should be related to what? To tech. So let's just pick one and use it in our file. So I'll be going with this being the first image here. So you can decide to choose anyone you like. So what you just need to do, you click on the image you want from that place. Then after clicking on it, wait for it to be displayed here. You get. So if you want to download it, you can download it and move it inside your project folder. You get. So you can just do that here simply. I will talk more about this in the special or in the next video. You get. So you can just, once you click on this arrow, then you'll be presented with this size, like this sizes. So you can select anyone you want and download it. So if I want to download the large, which is the best size for web files, like for web images, so which is 1920 by 1280. That is the best size for web files. Your image will be sharp, bright and clear whenever you use images of this size. You get. So you can click on this and your image and click on, you can click on that and select download selected size. So it will download it for you and you can move it inside your project folder. But mind you, what we want to do here is we are assuming that we don't have the image on our PC. So we want to use the image directly from online. So just right click. After right clicking, you come here and click on open image in new tab. You right click first on the image and select open image in new tab. Yeah, so once you do that, you should see a new tab open beside this current tab. So let's click on it and see what we have there. So you should see the image again here. Yeah. All right, so what you can do now, you can simply click on this link here, this link you are seeing here, this one that is being highlighted above. Just copy it using your Ctrl+C, copy it, and let's move it straight to our file. So in place of this, okay, maybe I don't need to delete this. Let me create another image tag, yeah, so that we can have several types or several examples here. So yeah, I have this now. Now remember, we are not using remember that we are not using an image from this that is from our project folder. So I'll just paste the link here. So let's see that now. All right, that's fine. So the first thing I would like us to see is save. Let's save and view it first. That is the first thing I want us to do. So I've saved. Let me open this up on my browser and let's see what we have quickly. All right, it is still loading, and hopefully this will come up soon. All right, so let's just scroll down. All right, so can you see this, guys? Can you see this? Can you see this? This is wonderful. Yeah, is it not wonderful? Yeah, I'm very sure you guys are excited. Now the thing is, now we have this image. Yes, at least we've achieved our aim, but there are some things that we need to do, just like a kind of cleanup to our code, you get, so that we can still follow the things that we've been doing before. Now the thing is, they've added this thing here using a get request method. So as you guys can see, we can easily make this look like the one we have before. Now, one thing I want you guys to know is that images have extensions. You get, so one of the extensions is what JPEG, which is called JPEG. You get, so another way you can see this JPEG file is JPG, which is the example you are seeing here. You get, so you can also use a GIF file, you can also use a PNG file. Those are the extensions that you can have for images. Now for this one, whenever you're adding an image, the last thing that should be in the name of your image should be the extension name. So if it is a JPEG, which is JPEG in this case, it should end with what? .jpeg. If it is JPG, the name of the image should end with what? .jpg, just like we have here. You get, so if it is PNG, it should end with what? .png. It can have several letters. So it can have several letters, but just make sure that it ends with what? The extension name. You get, so thank you very much. Now, so that will now bring us to something here, so that in this case we can easily remove all these things here. You get, we can easily remove all these things here, but mind you, you can also manipulate the width and height from this thing here. You get, it is not that it is useless, but we don't want to use this in our own file. You get, so this is the width here. This W stands for width, and this H is standing for what? Height. You get, so we can easily remove, okay, maybe let's see if this works truly. So let me remove this one from this one to 60 and make the width to 60. Let's see if our image will become smaller or not. So let's see quickly. All right, the page is loading. Although we will not be going through that route, I just want us to see if that particular width will work, or if we can manipulate that online image from that thing there. All right, so let's wait for our image to be rendered on our page. All right, so you guys can see this now. You can see that the image has become what? Smaller compared to what we had the first time. You get, so let me just go back now. Let me remove this. We don't really need this. Let's set our width attribute to manipulate the width. You get, then we can do every other thing we want to do again. All right, so let me just come out here and I set the width myself. You get, so let me make this 300 px. Yeah, I'll be using the px. You can use it and you might not, but I'll just advise you to start using the px so that you get familiar with the px unit before we get to css, because we'll be making use of that often in css. So I've changed my width to 300 here, and let's see what's going to happen quickly. All right, so you can see we have our image here, even brighter than the first one. You get, and the reason that one is not sharp is just because we've set both the height and the width. Whenever you set both height and width, you are going to be faced with with some kind of challenges regarding your image. It might stretch, you get, it might shrink, and it might, you know, become somehow distorted. You get, such that the image will not look nice. So thank you very much. Now that we've seen this, we can quickly add our title. Please mind you, the way I've used the attributes above, I only use them in that order because I had to explain it one after the other. So you can use any one first. Just like in this case, I want to use the title first before the alt. You get, so I can just say my workstation. Yeah, even though it's not for me, so I can just use that quickly. You get, so let me save it and let's see what's gonna happen. All right, we are here. So let's see what is gonna happen quickly. All right, so this is the image here. So let's see if everything works fine. Wow, that's good. Bravo. Bravo. So if you have been able to do this yourself, then you need to clap for yourself. You need a round of applause for yourself. So this is my workstation not really mine, but from what I've added to my title attributes, it is my work workstation. So don't argue that, please. You can also call it your workstation. There's nothing bad in that. So thank you very much. So now that we have that, we can quickly set our alt, you get, so that in case the image is not showing, why won't the image show? Anything can happen. Maybe the link is not correct, or the link got broken, or they changed the link to the image and the image will not show again. So whatever you put here will show up. All right, so let me just copy this. Let me go with my workstation, and we can just continue other things from there. So let's wait for this page to load to see the effect of what we've done. All right, the page should come up soon. Okay, all right. So if you guys can observe, you will see that there is no appreciable difference, or there is no noticeable difference you get between what we had before and what we have now. Yeah, so this is still trying to tell us that the idea I gave us the other time, which was if the image is not showing, the alt value will not show. If the alt value is showing, that means your image has what problem. So because our image is still showing, the alt value does not have to show, or will not show. All right, so let's tamper with the link. Let's say I come right here and I remove this G, so making the link invalid, you understand? So I can easily come back here and wait for this page to load. And so from what we can see here, now you can see that the page has fully loaded, and you can see the image is not showing. Why? Because the link is now invalid. I have tried to manipulate the link such that the link is not correct again. So, and as you can see here, my attributes, my alt value now is not showing, which is what my workstation. Please don't take this as your title, although we are setting the same value there, you get, but the title is totally different, you get, from the alt. And as you can see, even while the image is not showing, the title value will still show. You get, when you over on the alt value, or this icon, this image icon that is not showing. So as you can see, if you can observe clearly, this thing is showing my workstation close to the bottom of my workstation text. You get, that is the alt value. You get, so that's fine. Thank you very much. So that is that's all about the attributes that we can use inside the image. Now another thing is, whenever you start working on projects, let me return this. Whenever you start working on projects, you will need to arrange your file. You will need to make sure that your files are arranged. Then you might need to create a folder for your images. So you can name it images, or my image, or project image, anything. Then you can now start putting your images inside the folder. Now let's assume you have that kind of scenario. How do you add a link? Now there's no need to talk much about theory. Let's quickly go straight. Let me go straight to my file explorer and create a folder quickly. Then I'll move the image inside that folder, so that we can see how to add, or what's going to happen whenever I move. That should be this. Alright, so you can add a folder directly on your VS Code into your project folder. You get, so this folder I want to add will be inside my project folder. You get, so you can also go back to your desktop. I mean, from here you can also go back here. You can go back here. This is still our project folder. You right click and you go to new, then you create a new folder. So this will give us option, but I'm not doing that. So let's do everything we want to do on our VS Code and make sure we go back to what we have. So yeah, I'm just going to click on this again and make sure that, all right, so yeah, I'll be adding a folder called images. Yeah, so that is a folder. Now let's see, where is the folder? Okay, this is the folder here. Now let me move, I just need to move this image right inside this folder. That is what I want to do now. All right, so you guys will observe something now. So we'll quickly look at something now before we proceed. All right, so this image is now inside this images folder. If you want to know that this image is now inside this images folder, just click on this arrow here. Then you shouldn't see the image at all on this root folder. So showing that once you click on this arrow to expand it, and you can see this image here, that means this image is inside what your images folder now. So what we'll simply do first before looking at anything, let's try to check our web page now and see what's going to happen to this image. Let's see if the computer will be smart enough to know where the image is now. Mind you, you guys should remember that we've already changed the position or the path to where this image is. So let's see. Okay, as you guys can see here, you can see that the image is no more showing, signifying that the link of the image in our image tag is not correct. So we are now seeing the odd value that I've set inside the image tag. So which is fine and which is what is expected, you get. So what we just need to do now is to make sure that the link to the image is correct. So which is what we'll try to solve here quickly. So let me close this Explorer so that we'll have a wide workspace to work on. Now, so here now we can see that we have this. So let me just remove this quickly. So now, please, you guys should take note of this. Although I'll be discussing this in details again in the next video that that I'm going to create. You get. So you guys will have more idea about these parts, whatever you get. So, but simply for the purpose of this project, now to add a link of that particular image, what you just need to do is to do what? You start by accessing the name of the folder first. The name of the folder that is now holding the image. You need to access the name of the folder first before you can now access what is inside. You get. It is just like you want to go and visit somebody at home now, and once you get to the door of the person, you can't really say if the person is inside or not, but the first thing you need to do is what? You need to knock at the door. So if you don't knock at the door, you can't see the person, even though the person is inside. You cannot see the person. So you need to knock at the door. So in this case, you need to knock on the images folder. You get first. So by just writing the name of the folder / so you can see directly. You can see that the name pops up. You get just like what I've said before. Once you are doing the writing, when adding files in HTML, you will know. You get. So when I typed images, you can see that the name popped up, and when I typed the name, sorry, even without typing the name, when I added the /, then you can see the name of the image popped up immediately. You get. So I can just quickly click on this, then everything should work fine. Now why? Because we've directly knocked on the images folder. Then we are now accessing the name of the image. You get. So after adding the name of the folder, you need to add / before you can now add the name of the image, just like what you guys can see here. So let me just save and see. Let's see what we have here on our web page quickly. All right, the page is loading. So you guys can see now that we have this image now showing on our web page. Why? Because the link is now correct. You guys, so you guys should always take notes. There are so many things I've said here. Whenever you're adding the part to your image inside your source attributes, once the name of the image does not pop up, or once the name of one aspect of the link to the image does not pop up, you get automatically, that means something is wrong. Whenever you start typing the right thing, you should always see a suggestion that will show up telling you that okay, what you are doing is right. So I think now you guys should be able to do what you should be able to add an image to your web page. Either the image is self-hosted, that is on your PC, by copying it into your project folder, or the image is online. So I've showed you one of the sites that you can get a royalty-free image. You get. So you can also, in fact, you can download as much as possible images you want from that site. If you have much that you can use to contribute to the good work that Pexels is doing, you can also contribute. You can contribute a small or certain fee to them so that they can continue to do the work and retain the site for people who needs free images. Yeah, that is not compulsory anyway, but you will see the pop-up whenever you want to download an image. If you have, you can easily do what? Support their work. So if you have, you can easily support what? Their work. So alright, so thank you very much. So today we've been able to look at, or in this video we've been able to look at how to add images. I have also talked about so many site tips that you guys need to note. So please, I'm very sure with what we've done, you guys should be able to at least add an image to your web page. You get, whether it is self-hosted or what, or an image that is online. Thank you very much. If you have learned one or two things from this video, kindly share this video, like. If you have any comments, you can comment there, and I'll really appreciate if you've not subscribed, you guys should, or just try to subscribe, you know, and turn on the notification bell so that you get notifications whenever I release upcoming series of these videos. So I don't want this to be long, but at the same time I need to talk about the real things there. So thank you very much. If you have gained anything from this video, kindly subscribe, like, and share this video with your friends. I'll see you in the next series of the video. Thank you very much. Bye.